Well, hello. I've hopefully improved the audio situation here a little bit, and we may even have a couple of camera angles now, so moving up in the world. Last we chatted, there was a problem with this font and the fact that it is got a giant hole in it, and that's all the bits and pieces of the font inside of it. So I'm trying to source a replacement font, and so that's kind of the current deal. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to kind of clean this up a little bit before I put it back together, and it'll sit on the shelf here until we get a new font for it. There's one on eBay, and there's a couple other on the Coleman Collectors Forum, so I should be able to get one for it without too much trouble. The one on eBay is super nice, and I would like to have that one because it would really make this look good. It's almost too nice for it considering the condition of the ventilator. But what we'll do here, because I'm just kind of curious, I said that the chrome on it the nickel on it looked really good. And so what I'm going to do is actually just polish a little bit of it just to see how it comes up, just because I'm curious. Not that it's going to have any real value. See how that goes. So let's spin this out of here. I was going to just kind of slap it together, but I figured, let's do a little test on the font here and see what it looks like. So grab the trusty mothers and see what we can do with a little bit of polish work here. We'll pick a spot that's easy to get to. No reason to struggle. But people talk about, oh God, don't use quadruple X steel wool because it'll wreck the finish and everything else. It won't. You don't want to sit there and just lay on it really hard. But you have to remove some of that surface oxidation, but you don't have to rub on it super hard. You really don't. See, now I'm going to end up polishing this thing out here, and then I'm just going to get super depressed because the font's got a giant hole in it. Well, what can you do, right? At least I'll have a good bit of parts here. For what I paid for this thing, even with the ruined font, I'm still not behind on the money on it with everything else in it that's actually working. So I think that's enough for this one spot here. Grab one of the trusty dusties here. Yeah, there's a bunch of them to pick from, all in various stages of use. But we'll see how this polishes out. Yeah. See, this is the part that's just going to make me sad. Because the nickel on this is in really great shape. So you can see with just the little bit of time I spent on it, it's in really pretty good shape. Oh well, that hole there, what I did to kind of test it, a little hammer, and I used the ball peen side here, and it was just very, very easy to go right through it. So yeah, that was kind of a disappointing discovery, but it's all right. What I may do here is just go full crazy on it, and take a look inside. I may actually maybe make this one into a cutaway. Try not to hurt myself here, but yeah, you can see the bottom of the pump and everything else. So anyway, probably not going to mess with that too much more, because really all I want to do is just kind of get this together. I do have this collar here, and this is a stainless collar because it's got a lot of strength to it. So what I think I'll do is we'll work on polishing this out. Kind of get it cleaned up. There's quite a bit of, well, here you can see, quite a bit of char and whatnot. Obviously, it had a few interesting stories to tell, I'm sure, in its life. But so yeah, we'll just get a little bit of polish and clean off all that carbon and whatnot. So I hope everyone's liking the improved audio, because I got I've switched over to using a GoPro for the video recording. So this camera over here is a Hero 8 Black, and this camera over here is a Session 5. The one that's recording the audio is the black. And found a lavalier mic that I had laying around, and then I bought the external. Come on, I bought the external microphone adapter, so that way I could hook it up, and we could run a little better quality audio. Because like right now, when I'm doing this kind of work like this, I'm talking straight down, and the mic's just right there. So you get hopefully a lot better sounding audio, although it wasn't too bad before. What I was doing, I was just using the on-camera microphones, but I was kind of playing around in the editing suite and working on the audio. I was running a compressor on it, so that way I could bring the audio up pretty much automatically, and it would still be able to be heard pretty well, instead of you guys wondering what the heck is he saying. So yeah, these things here, there's a lot of carbon here that I'm not going to be able to get off. I think it might need to take a little bit of soaking with something else. But the interesting thing about these things is that the minimum amount of time that you need to put in here on these, you really don't have to work a whole lot to make them look good. So in the time that I've been sitting here babbling, I've pretty much worked my way all the way around the collar here. And you'll see the difference here in a minute, once we get all the other stuff off of it. Just for this one spot here, it just doesn't want to come off. And I'll rub it on it pretty hard, but it doesn't want to give up. Yeah, it's coming. But we may just leave a little bit of that on there just for, so it looks like it's been used. Right? Don't want to kill all the patina, but I want to get the dirt off of it, right? So again, what I'm doing here, you got to wipe all this stuff off your gloves, otherwise it'll just track around the whole thing. And then just a rough wipe to get most of the stuff off, and then wipe the inside now that you got most of it off. And then it's time to check your gloves again. Looking pretty good. Go for another slightly less dirty rag here. But yeah, see, this this mother stuff is truly amazing. So y'all know what this looked like just a couple of minutes ago, right? Look what we got now. I mean, it's pretty great. Yeah, right? Looking good. Just keep buffing. Sort of like, Finding Nemo, just keep swimming, but we're gonna just keep buffing. Ha! Well, it's a good thing I laugh at my jokes. Someone's got to, otherwise I'm just kind of alone here, right? Anyway, so yeah, this is looking really quite good. Really quite good. Yeah, that's a big difference. And everything's easily readable. I've got a little bit of that char still left on it, but that's fine. But everything else on it, I mean, that just looks killer. I may have polished it a little bit much. I don't know. Well, that's all right. So the next thing I want to kind of do is to look at the where's the burner frame? Okay, so the burner frame here is probably also stainless, and we're going to go ahead and shoot this with a little bit of carb cleaner. just to see what comes off. Carb cleaner is another great reason to wear gloves. That stuff will just cook you. It really will burn and sting and whatnot. I remember I used to work at a architectural signage firm, and back in the days when you used to be able to get MEK, methyl ethyl ketone, and we used it as a cleaner. And one of the big jokes was that, you know, you'd be in the shop and it was hot, and the guy would take the squirt bottle and squirt a big shot of MEK on your leg, on your jeans. And of course, if you didn't run to get to the air hose to dry it out immediately, it just burned like something terrible. So yeah, you kind of gotta watch that. So this burner frame here, this is what's in view. These are brass. That looks like it's stainless. The carb cleaner on there did loosen some of the stuff up. I'm going to kind of wet it down a little bit again. And then I'm going to get my little nylon brush, and I'm going to kind of brush it a little bit to see if I can get anything else to come up, or if everything else is just completely baked on. It's looking pretty baked on. I don't think any of that's going to come off. Nah, it's not. But this kind of gets us cleaned up so we can do a little cleanup and polish on it. And so we'll just kind of demo some of this. I probably won't subject you to the entire polishing process like I did for the collar, but just to kind of show you with a little bit of time on this will do, and how it'll look. And it may not be super duper great, but at least it'll look a little bit better. Not quite so cruddy and grubby and everything else. So, because sometimes this stuff cleans up really, really nice. Other times it just looks like you've been sitting there scrubbing on it, but nothing's happened. So we'll just kind of rub on this here for a bit and see what happens. All right. See if we've made any kind of real progress on this one side versus the other, and if it's worth our effort. So so I would say, in a knee-jerk response here, I'd say yes, because it actually is cleaning up really nice. So you can kind of see here, one side, this is the side that's clean, side that's not clean. So yeah, it looks pretty good, I think. I think it's worth the effort. So anyway, like I said, I'm not going to subject you to the rest of that. These other things here too is these burner pipes are brass, and they'll polish up too, and with a little bit of effort, and they look really, really nice when you do this. But again, you have to decide if that's something you really want to do, if you want to make it look like that or not, if it's important to you. I've found that even though these are pretty close to the fire, they still retain a bit of shine for a while. So, like I said, up to you if you want to fart around with it or not. You can get some shine out of it. Okay, these aren't brass, these are stainless. Yep, stainless for sure. But you can see there's a little bit of a difference between this one here and that one there. So anyway, that's that. Just as kind of a quick aside here, we'll just kind of throw this back on here. Not too worried about the clocking on this because it's not like I can do anything with it. But we'll stick that on there. And let's see, I gotta put my stud back in. Pull the stud out. It's also a brass fitting, so it came out pretty easy. In fact, you probably saw that on the last thing. So we'll just go ahead and not mangle this probably. And we'll just tighten this down a bit. Okay, that goes there. This goes here, that goes there. So Yeah, if everything was looking good, we'd end up with a running lantern that would look like this. But unfortunately, like we found out with the font there, that's not going to happen. But you know, hey, I can still get out of the font the I can get the pump out of it, the valve, everything else. The oops, going the wrong direction here. Now I've done it. Right, valve, pump, all that stuff, the pump screws, the leather, the check valve, the air stem. So there's still usable parts that come out of this thing, and we'll be able to use them on the replacement font when it comes in. Or even if that one's not suitable, then we can always keep them for spares. So the last thing here is the generator. And the generator is completely stuck solid. So what I'm going to do with this is that I'm going to heat and quench this several times to get it to loosen the carbon. And then once I do that, then the spring should come out, and everything else should come out, and then it'll be fine. If there's any kind of packing material in there, you know, I've got an extra tube or so that I can put in, so that'll be fine. So I could just get a new generator, but it's not too much trouble to break it apart. But anyway, so we'll see how that works and see what we end up with. A little bit of a rambler here. Didn't really get a whole lot done, but at least showed a little bit of like how things you can polish things up, and what the next stage for this one is going to be. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, and until next time, keep them lit.